What's up, everyone? Welcome to Pat's Chat. I'm Doug Kyed, joined as always by Michael Hurley. Michael, how are we doing today?
It's the baseball boys. We're back. The baseball boys are here.
Yes, Sox talk. We'll talk about our Red Sox excursions and experiences at the end of the podcast, but because there's actually sneakily a lot to discuss on today's
Well, we're
Pat's Chat
all we're the
podcast.
baseball boys and we're the cocaine boys, as everyone knows. So, like, those are
The
the things we're
pink
most known
cocaine
for.
boys, okay?
Yes,
There's a
right.
difference, I think.
Yeah. Well, we
Um,
are like, let's be honest. Like, we give off a big cocaine guy vibe. I think everyone's like, how do those guys do it?
yeah,
Cocaine,
yeah.
obviously. So I look
Through the
forward to.
nose, mostly. Yeah,
Yeah, I look forward that
yeah.
we flex our expertise later in this episode.
I know we might as well kick off with it, if anything. I know
Sure.
we've got Patriots OTAs, we've got David Andrews' retirement, all those different things, but perhaps the most salacious, the most interesting thing going on right now is the video that came out of Stefon Diggs during Memorial Day weekend on a boat, handing out an unknown substance of a pink color. Um, and we're not saying it's pink cocaine. That's a lot of what people in Twitter comments are saying. Um,
We aren't qualified to identify it as such. I mean, I don't want to
no.
speak for you. I'm not qualified to identify it as such.
When I saw the video originally, I was like, "Oh, it's kind of weird that there's something in a bag there," but I was like, "I don't know what would be pink."
Fun dip.
Exactly. But so I don't know if you saw me tweet this. I tweeted out, "Does anyone know where this video actually stemmed from?" And I got a decent amount of responses, but they were all jokes of varying levels of humor. But
Hmm.
like, remember back in the day when like you would know where a video came from? This
Like,
one, it truly
yeah.
seems like no, it just popped up out of nowhere on Twitter. Like, was this originally on Instagram, Snapchat? Was it like who took it? I don't know. It's kind of weird, right? And like,
It's weird.
why is it out there?
Yeah. Usually it's like from an Instagram live and you can kind of
Right.
see, but yeah, no, it's a clean video. Nothing on it.
This just seems like I mean, I don't think it was necessarily like Stefon Diggs' fault that this was out there, but like this was such an avoidable controversy because that
Right.
video just didn't need to hit the internet, you know?
Right. And I guess I'm a little insulated because I see it on Twitter and I know Vrabel talked about it today. Is it a story outside of social media? Like, are national outlets looking at it or no?
I think Adam
Uh,
Schefter
it's the second
posted.
headline on ESPN.com. So
Yeah, I think Adam Schefter posted Mike Reese's story about it. It
that's pretty
officially
big.
became a story when Vrabel was asked about it and addressed it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's I don't think I don't know this for a fact, obviously, but like it feels like nothing's actually going to probably like come of this.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know. Like the NFL could potentially get involved, right? Depending on what was actually in those bags.
Yeah, I mean, Goodell, like us, big cocaine expert, so he's one to weigh in on it. And it's funny reading that Reese story. It just says a video of Diggs on a boat when he flashed an unidentified pink substance while surrounded by three women, and that is the only description or any sort of reporting on what the video actually contained. Which, like, when you read it, is like, all right. So
Right.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess you'd have to look at the drug policy if he was. But is there a rule against holding a bag of it?
And handing it to a woman,
Yeah,
probably. I don't know. I
I
mean,
think so. Yeah,
when you hand it off, I mean, possession also, I don't know, but we don't know what's in the bag. We don't know,
we don't know what's in the
like you
bag.
said, could be Fun Dip. Um,
Yeah,
could be a pixie stick that's
deny,
been emptied
deny,
out.
deny is the approach there. Like that is not what because people said it on Twitter. That's what it is. So fair enough, I guess. But yeah, I guess it's a weird situation because I guess usually
It is.
drug offenses in the NFL are PEDs when you test it or arrests. You
Right.
know,
It's not a video stemming from unknown origins that just randomly hit social media on the Tuesday after Memorial Day weekend. I also do think it's somewhat funny that like every story about it includes that he was like surrounded by three women or like
Right.
three bikini clad women. It's like, I suppose it's a pertinent part of the story, but it's it's somewhat, I don't know. It's not that important to the story.
How dare he
It's
be
somewhat
near
ancillary to the story. Yeah.
women? I mean, that's probably the worst part of all. I mean, if he's going to get suspended, it's because he was near members of the opposite sex. We just can't have that, especially on a boat. I mean, let's be honest. You can't have it.
It's very true. So I don't know, not necessarily the controversy that I thought that we'd be covering today, but an interesting one nonetheless,
And what
and
did you
one
make
that
of
it's really
Vrabel?
teaching a lot of people. Like I feel like obviously there's a certain subset of people who are very aware of what pink cocaine was, but I think
Sure,
that this is ultimately a boon for the pink cocaine industry, is it not?
it's
Like I
true.
feel like
Maybe,
many more people now know what pink cocaine is because of this
yeah.
story.
Maybe he's an investor, you know? It's a
Yeah.
smart business decision, technically. Vrabel's comment on it that we have to make smart decisions on and off the field. What did you make of his read on the situation? Because he's a guy, obviously, that is their big, would you call him a splash? I call him a splash, pretty big name,
Hmm.
multi-time Pro Bowler, brought in, isn't there today, and has that on top of it. It for as much as it's a little salacious, like you said, it is a pretty notable football situation.
It is. I thought it was interesting that he wasn't there because there was videos of him and like pictures of him being there last week. So I'm not sure if this is a situation where they said like, "Hey, stay away," or if Diggs just never intended on being there this week anyway. But I do think that when you say like you've got to make good decisions on and off the field, that at least insinuates that a bad decision was made off the field. Am I
Mm.
correct in saying that?
That would be, yes, that would be the counter to not to a good decision would be a bad decision.
Right. So I don't know. I mean, I'm curious. I'm as curious as anyone to see where this story goes. If the NFL gets itself involved, if they don't bother, if there's like, if, I don't know what their stance on pink cocaine, or as Russo Ball or Tony says, 2CB. It's also called 2CB.
Oh yeah, yeah, we call it that when we go out.
I
Doug and
actually
I,
I was at my daughter's soccer practice, googling pink cocaine, and I think people call it 2C also.
yeah, I've
So
seen that. Yeah, like
yeah,
so, like I'll go out normally, like or like I'll be at a baseball game with you, and it'll be like popcorn, peanuts, 2C,
yeah.
and it's just sort of like it gets the vibes where they need to go. I'm checking NFL.com, and it's the third headline there. Patriots aware of viral video of wide receiver Stefon Diggs on a boat, which is such a bad. I understand with the unidentified substance, you
Right.
can't, but like they're aware there's a video of him on a boat. It's like I wish it said with women. Um,
With bikini clad women.
so yeah, I guess I should have done my prep. The nationally, it is a story, and I don't know whether that's because it's late May,
Well,
but
I'm
it's
going
a
to say that the timing was pretty poor on this one. Like, if we were in, let's say, September, I don't think it's the third story on NFL.com. I don't think it's the second story on ESPN. But we're in late May when nothing else in the NFL is going on, and NFL is still the biggest profit driver in the sporting industry. So, not the best time to have a video go viral when you're holding a substance of unknown origins when nothing else in the NFL is going on.
right. Yep. So he'll presumably have to be back June 9th through 11th, right, for mandatory minicamp. I
Right.
guess the question is OTAs next week. We'll see via photo gallery and whatever day you have eyes whether he's back.
We'll be there on Monday. I mean, he also, I think there might be an OTA's practice tomorrow. Like, I thought it was interesting that he wasn't out there when we were there last week and then he showed up. So I don't know if they're like trying to keep us away from him. I don't know if they're like, the media's going to be here, sit this one out, stay down in Miami, do whatever, come back tomorrow. So then, like, the media won't see that you're not really doing anything. You know what I mean? Like, we have no idea what his status is if we can't watch him live. So,
Right.
might be a smart move by them. So once again, not saying that's what's happening, but it could be a smart move by them.
Yeah, and it did look based on the photos from last week or earlier this week. No,
It
last
was
week.
last week, yeah.
He looked pretty active. He looked like he was playing football, not just
Yeah.
sort of off to the side on a stationary bike. So a promising sign there, but obviously wiped out by the viral video of him on a boat. So as to the OTA session, Doug, you were there. You reported this. I believe this is verbatim. Drake Maye's career is over. Bust. Looks terrible. Might get cut. Is all of that true?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's completely true. No. Listen, here's what I would say. Drake May did not look very good. Joshua Dobbs did not look very good. The offense in general, I would say, did not look very good. I don't think we're at like a level of actual concern yet, but what I will say is that I think everyone expected him to look better. He had a very promising rookie season. He's in year two, bigger leader now. He's got a competent, experienced offensive coordinator. I don't think anyone necessarily expected Drake May's headlines to be like, turnovers followed by like struggling to be
So
coming
would you
out of
have
the gate.
him? It was 9 for 17 today. Is that right?
I had him 9 for 16.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
And like there was like they were missed throws. It
Mhm.
was a lot of throws were high. I think he threw a ball that was dropped by Travion Henderson, but was also like pretty low. There was one to Hunter Henry that like wasn't even close. That looked more like it was probably like a miscommunication maybe than an inaccuracy. But you were they were running the gamut with errors out there. Um, and like the best play of the day was a throw from Joshua Dobbs to Kyle Williams. But that's not to say that I thought that Joshua Dobbs looked considerably better than Drake May either. He threw an interception, but that was off of a drop. But he was also like missing guys high. Just felt like a lot of high throws out there. Where like if these throws were being made in games, wide receivers would have been decapitated. Uh, we got a weird noise coming through. Is that you?
We're back. We're back. Sorry.
We're back.
The thing I had to hear myself, it turns out it was on a trial, and the trial lasted 10 minutes. So
I thought there were snakes in your house. There was a lot of hissing going on.
but you can hear me fine now.
I can hear you okay now. Yes. No
My
hissing.
bad. Okay, my bad. I won't do that again. I guess the question though is because last week you had the 4 picks, which is still
Yeah.
funny to say, and it's sort of like if you make a huge deal of it, you're a bozo. You're being crazy.
Right.
Another bad day. You could look at it and say the same thing, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the question is because we look at football in terms of weeks, right?
Right.
And each week you want to get better. It's not just a cliche, especially
Right.
in May.
Yeah.
And now you have OTAs, you only have a week left, right? And then you have
Yeah.
mini camp, and then you got a month and a half, almost 2 months of nothing. Like there has to be some level of growth and development in this
Right.
time.
Yeah.
If you go out next week and he's worse or the same, I guess you should rightfully call it a concern because yeah, there's a ton of time before they play a real game. And I know Belichick always used to say, "Oh, we don't play until September."
Right.
But this is an important part of the season when you have all of the things you just mentioned, like new offensive coordinator, second year quarterback, new parts, like a whole new philosophy. I'm not totally dismissing the struggles and being like, oh, it's May, because they do have to start putting some things together before they go away for a month.
I think that's fair. I think that like so in that context, or following that line of thinking, he did improve a little bit from let's
Okay.
say last week to this
It
week.
wasn't 4 picks.
It wasn't 4 picks. So anything 3 picks would have been an improvement. So 0 picks is an improvement. Is it where we want it to be? Is it where we thought it would be? No. But yeah, let's see if that upward trajectory continues. But like, no, I mean, I thought he was going to be like a top 10-ish quarterback this season.
You still
And
can
from all-
think it.
Yeah, no, and it's certainly still 100% on the table. Some might even say that it's like still probable or whatever. But like so far, it's May 28th, and that hasn't been what it's looked like. And he doesn't have Stefon Diggs. Mac Hollins is still sitting out. But, you know, like the defense they're going up against, I think has a potential to be pretty good. But it's not like they're going up against the like, I don't know, they're not going
85
up against
Bears?
like the 99 Ravens or like the 85 Bears, I guess. Yeah. Were the 85 Bears known for their defense more? Or was it's kind of an all around package, right?
No, they were a defensive team. Their quarterback was
Yeah,
Jim McMahon. And we go
but they did have
2000.
Walter Payton. Well, they did
It's
have Walter Payton.
Yeah, but they didn't let him score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. That went to William Perry instead.
That is true. They did have Refrigerator Perry, Michael Singletary,
We go the
Stupid
2000 Ravens
Michael.
too. I'm sure the 99 Ravens were good
Yeah,
too, but
yeah.
2000
2000
was right.
Ravens, 85 Bears.
When you were talking about people that might say it's still probable, I was going to say more probable than not. And then I came up with a new podcast name for us that we're going to have to change. More
More
potable than
potable
not.
than not. Oh, that's
See?
good.
All it
Yeah.
took was like 3 years of Pat's chat and now we're
Well,
changing.
we messed up this offseason by not doing the Deflategate podcast
I know.
for the 10-year anniversary. But when we do, or when you do, or when someone does the Deflategate podcast, it has to be called More Potable Than Not.
Yeah,
Let's
but
delete this part of this podcast, or like let's immediately trademark it as soon. Like do it as we're
yeah.
speaking.
Sort of like do your job Bill's version. More
Yes.
potable than not, Michael's version.
If
We're
we
not
don't
gonna.
do it, if we don't trademark it and copyright it, Jordan Hudson is going to steal it.
It's true. Bill's version of Michael Hurley's version. I just want to say because I don't think this is on our docket today. I want to throw it in real quick. I listened to the second Pablo Torre podcast on Bill Belichick and
Okay, I
everything.
did not.
He went to the Airbnb in Hingham.
Yes.
It's gotten weird. Like it's weird. Which I can respect. I can see it in his eyes when he does appearances that like I've been there. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you get carried away, but like someone needs to be like, okay, like you
Right.
can get out of his laundry hamper. We got it.
Yeah, I didn't listen to the second one.
I was mowing the
I
lawn. I needed something, you know?
I mean it's totally fair. I like if I had more time, maybe I would have. If I was driving home from the Cape this weekend, if Olivia wasn't in the back seat, maybe I would have thrown it on.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't think it hit the same zeitgeist that the first episode did.
Yeah. I think most people's reaction was, why did you go to the Airbnb? So, like, I just feel like it's heading
Right.
down the path of, like, I hacked into Bill Belichick's medical records. Let's look at his x-rays. And it's
Right.
like, we don't need to do that. We've passed the point of necessary, but
Yeah.
yeah, I did note, again, not in our docket. I saw a clip of them on Twitter, Florio and Pablo Torre, and they brought up the June 1st thing and they were harping on the June 1st exit clause. That's a Pat's Chat exclusive. Like, back off our turf.
That is
Bill
true.
Belichick, Cowboys coach, bank on
Yeah.
it. Coming soon.
I I have like no issues with Mike Florio. I have no reason to have any issues with Mike Florio, but his like full blown turn against Bill Belichick this offseason has just been like sort of fascinating to watch from afar. Like clearly there's some sort of history there. Just
Mhm.
based on like
But what?
every Belichick headline that he's written has just been like so conspiratorial or like negative
Yeah.
that I just have to kind of sit back and be like, whoa, wow,
Yeah.
we're going there every time, huh? I don't know.
Yeah. And I don't know,
Maybe it's a Lombardi thing. I don't know.
maybe he's taking something up for his buddy Peter King. Because
Possibly.
Peter King has come out and been like, I hate Bill Belichick, I'm pretty
Right.
sure, because he
Yeah.
hasn't talked to him since Spygate. So
Right.
I don't know. Maybe he's just a loyal NBC guy, whatever it is. But you're right. I can't judge. There's a level of obsession with some people in some topics, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's beyond your control.
Is very true. Should we? Yeah. Elsewhere in OTAs,
Sorry.
I appreciate any sort of I don't know divergences
Sure.
that we can take. I would say it's funny because like in the moment, just felt like a normal OTAs. I'm running it up, feels like a normal OTAs. Andrew Callahan was not there. He said like, oh, it felt like it was maybe like a little bit of a dud of an OTA session. I was like, no, I felt it pretty normal. But now like as I'm breaking it down in podcast form and talking about it, it's like, yeah, I guess not a whole lot happened during the session. There's only one interception, not many pass breakups. Lan Larison, I know he's everyone's second favorite undrafted free agent after Efton Chisholm.
Mm-hmm.
Guy looks good catching the ball out of the backfield, I gotta say.
Mm-hmm.
He had a good day out there today. Kendrick Bourne was targeted very often. Keyshawn Booty didn't get a single target. Demario Douglas only had one target, no catches. So like kind of a weird day out there from a wide receiver perspective, but not a lot of downfield passes. Kyle Williams had a great catch downfield over the shoulder, but he also fumbled, which was not great.
Mm.
You talk about Javon Baker and Jalen Polk because those are always fascinating guys to talk about during individual drills. They're doing this drill where they're like weaving out of bags, and then at one point Todd Downing like throws them the ball, and they're supposed to catch it. Jalen Polk and Javon Baker dropped those passes in consecutive turns, which was not great.
I saw a video of it. Baker
Yeah.
looked like it was a defensive back drill. He like swatted
Maybe he
at
thought
it.
it was. Maybe
Perhaps.
he's pulling a Julian Edelman and switching over to cornerback. But then Javon Baker also dropped a deep ball on an individual drill next, on like the next session, which is also not great. But then he went out there and had actually a pretty good day. That being said, though, caught a deep ball. There was hand fighting between him and the cornerback overall, but like most people seem to think it was a push off on Baker's part. Caught the ball, kind of started to celebrate, and Mike Vrabel let it be known that like, hey, get back into the huddle. But then Vrabel was talking to Baker, presumably about that, as they were walking off the field. Which seemed like a nice little like one-on-one moment, teaching moment from Mike Vrabel and Javon Baker. We'll see how he responds in the future. But I thought it was interesting. Just kind of an interesting, notable day overall for Javon Baker, where like made some good plays, had some drops, maybe drew the ire of his head coach, but then also seemed to like maybe get that little bonding moment as they came off the field. Don't know what it means for Javon Baker's future because he's still, based on how things look in OTAs, not very high up on the depth chart.
Okay.
But I don't know. He's still got talent. And I don't know. It's just like he's got like this offseason to put it together, it feels like, you know? And if he doesn't, then he's probably gone.
And this offseason is pretty well advanced at this point. So it's a tough spot.
Yes and no. Like he's got another week of OTAs, 3 days of minicamp, and then all of training camp. But yeah, no, it is like not a lot of time left before the season starts. And it all feels kind of make or break with the numbers issue at wide receiver.
For sure.
One that Mike Vrabel really doesn't want to talk about.
Did he ask him about it?
Someone asked him about it, and he was like, well, we talked about that last week. Everyone's got the same amount of wide receivers.
Yeah, but most teams have a depth chart.
Right. Most teams have like a more clear vision of what their wide receiver group would look like. The Patriots have like a couple of guys at the top and then a bunch of guys around the same. Yeah.
And one guy all alone on a boat with women.
And an unknown substance.
Despicable. On a boat. We are anti-aquatics on this podcast.
Yeah, I've got a paddleboard.
So,
I don't have a boat.
Yeah, I don't want to because we are the Patch Chat podcast, right? So I don't want to work against us. I don't want to be the anti-hype man. Right. But it does sound like a bit of a dud of a day out there. Like, and that's no one's fault. It's a day of practice in May with no pads on.
Right, because it was like May. If May had been great, it would have been very headline worthy. Or if he had thrown 5 interceptions, it would have been even more headline worthy. If we had seen Stefon Diggs, if he wasn't stuck on the boat, that would have been headline worthy. And if like Keisha, I mean, like Kyle Williams made a great play, but he also fumbled the ball. So it was like for a lot of like positive plays, there were also some negatives. Milton Williams was out there making an impact. He had a pressure. He had a batted pass. Once again, not to work against ourselves, I have a hard time taking any sort of pass rush during OTAs seriously because like they're literally not wearing pads.
It's
they
like
cannot contact one another.
Who's trying a little too hard on this rep is basically what it is. Because like
when a guy gets in the backfield, you're kind of like, did you have to do that? Why'd you have to ruin the play? You know?
Like if you're playing center or guard, you're just praying you don't bang knees against someone.
Right.
You're not using your head because you're going up against someone's chest and clavicle. Like it's I don't want to say it's patty cake, but it's friendly and it's not football.
Right. Speaking of the offensive line, seems like there's still a little bit of a hole at the left guard position. Like they're still trying to kind of figure things out. We're not allowed to talk about what the offensive line combination is.
Hmm.
Stacey James has made that kind of clear the last few practices. So I'm not going to say what position this individual was playing, what group he was playing with, but you host a Patriots podcast. You're perpetually online. Do you know who
Yeah.
Tyrese Robinson is?
Yes, I read about him in Doug Kyed's tweet from OTAs today.
He
I know
played more than I
Layden.
thought he would.
I know Layden Robinson.
Tyrese Robinson, he's 25 years old. He went to Oklahoma. He went undrafted in 2022. He's played with the Commanders, the Eagles, and the Vikings. And the Patriots signed him in November of last year.
He has one career game.
One career game was that with the New England Patriots?
It was
It
with the New England
was.
Patriots last year. He played 61 snaps against the Buffalo Bills in Week 18.
Wow.
Who could have missed that one?
I was going to say, I don't specifically recall seeing Tyrese Robinson on the field last year,
Yeah.
but that was a game that everyone, I think, would prefer to forget. Yeah. But yeah, Tyrese Robinson, I don't know, in the mix.
Yeah.
Thought that was thought
Okay.
that was interesting to see. I think
I'm
that's where
more
we're at right now with the offensive line.
I'm
We're
more
just throwing
perplexed.
anything out there.
This may be more interesting than OTAs, so I'm going to ask you because in the days of covering the Dynasty era Patriots, it was like you can't report on trick plays, you can't report on strategy things.
Right.
I feel like you could report on who was playing left guard. The fact that you can't now is a little odd.
Yeah, I think if anything, like some things just slip through the cracks, you know? And now that there's so little going on that it's harder to slip things through the cracks, maybe. But
But I don't know. The past couple of years, I feel like the rules got lax. Now,
right.
granted, maybe that has to do with the head coach,
Yeah.
but I don't know what Vrabel gains by people not knowing today who played offensive line.
Yeah. I mean, especially in May. It's like I don't think teams are gonna be starting to game plan
Yeah.
to watch
All right.
Cole
So I'm going to
Strange out there
say
or something. Yeah.
your Will Campbell played left tackle. I wasn't at practice, so I'm just going to say it. Will Campbell was at left tackle.
Okay.
Tyrese Robinson got a lot of run at left guard.
I didn't say it.
I said it though. You had Bradbury probably as the starter at center, and then you had Onwenu and you had Moses at right tackle. It's an interesting mix. Mike Hurley was not there, so if any of that's accurate, I violated no rules. Badass Pats chat.
So Tyrese Robinson, he had a 75.4 PFF grade in that Week 18 game against the Bills. Didn't
I
allow a
mean,
pressure.
Doug, come on,
88.2 pass blocking
Doug,
grade. I mean,
roll
Patriots
the
must
tape.
see something out of him, you know?
There's a possibility that no Bills players rushed toward him, which is why he did not allow any pressures.
I
That
want
game
to,
was so bad.
do you know what? Fun fact. Um, this isn't even a fun game. Who do you think are the three highest graded offensive players from the 2024 Patriots?
Um, this is all PFF.
Yeah.
I mean, Hunter Henry's got to be on there.
Hunter Henry was number 7.
I'm gonna guess Onwenu because PFF loves that guy, even
He
though
was
I don't
number
think he
11.
on the Patriots.
So, yep. So
Wait,
Joe Milton was number 1, of course.
okay,
Austin Hooper was number 2.
okay.
And our guy Tyrese Robinson was number 3.
What a season! What a season for the ages, if ever there was one.
Michael Hasty was number 5.
All right. I mean, you're not working. Like I said, I don't want to work against us. You're working against PFF right now. I'll say that. Like this, it does not saying much.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, I guess I should have said throw snap counts out the window on this one. Austin Hooper not out there today, so you had Jack Westover as your backup tight end. He appears to be above Jaheim Bell currently on the tight end depth chart. I think I said that last week as well, but still the case out there. Defensively, Keon White beat Will Campbell on a snap for pressure, but like once
Well,
again, it's like,
but
come
Will
on.
Campbell, he could have been anywhere on the line. We won't say
That
where
is
he
true.
was.
You know what? That I mean, yeah, that that could actually work against the Patriot. Like if we just started saying like we can't tell you where Will Campbell was playing, but it's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Let's say you're doing an EEI hit or something. They're like,
Yeah,
so how's Will Campbell look out there? You're like, well, he's playing offensive line. And then they're like,
yeah.
well, is he at guard or tackle? And you're like, he's at O line.
He's on the offensive line. Can't tell you where. It's a very interesting spot. But yeah, I don't know. I'm oh, kickers. You want to know about kickers?
Yeah, I want to hear about the rookie.
Borregales and Parker Romo both went 3 of 4, but Parker Romo's miss was from a shorter distance.
Okay.
So it'd still say that Borregales, from the 2 practices that we've seen, has been the better kicker.
All right. Good to know. Noted.
Um, Parker Romo, I don't know how you went from John Parker to Romo to just Parker Romo. It's interesting, right?
Well, the three name thing kind of invokes like a assassin, John Wilkes Booth style, Lee Harvey Oswald. You just kind of want to stick to two names, generally speaking.
He's out of the assassin game. He's
Good. I mean, that's
yeah,
good. You don't want to be in that. I have a totally outside bounds thing again because
yeah.
I mentioned the head coach. I saw a clip yesterday, and then I mentioned DEI. I saw a clip today or yesterday of Mayo doing an interview with DEI from last year. It was the one where he basically said May had outplayed
Yes. Jacoby Brissett.
Brissett,
Yeah.
and like had this like really roundabout cockamamie explanation of what he was talking about. And watching it, obviously with like the benefit of retrospect, you're just like, what the hell? Like, what was going on in there? It was just, it just felt like a bizarro world thing where you're like, did this really happen?
Right.
And why were we all, I wouldn't say clueless, but we weren't vigilant with how bad it looked
I mean,
early.
I don't think that some people in the Patriots organization feel that way. I think that some of them might feel that we were responsible for him getting fired, not us
That's
two
true.
specifically. So I've been reflecting a little bit on the Drake Maye era in the past few days. I don't know why, what caused that. Maybe it was just today with Mike Vrabel, where like Vrabel was like pretty no nonsense today. Like, no, it doesn't really want to say anything. Not a whole lot of interest in saying much interesting. Knows what he's doing up there. He's gonna like be a little bit flippant. You know, he was being Vrabel. And like Mayo overall, I hope this isn't too harsh. He was like the most unserious head coach outside of Mike McDaniel that I feel like we've seen in the NFL for a while. Just like those interviews with WEI where like he's just joking around after losses and even like joking around about like his double speak and like going back on the things that he said. Like, very nice guy, funny, like personable, easy to like, but that's not what you want to be known as a head coach, for like as being the guy who has to correct himself every week. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, that was a theme early. I just had to check. Thankfully, Mike McDaniel is not also a 1986 guy. He's an 83 guy because I was nervous for a second. But yeah, it's just the clip kind of just stopped me in my tracks because obviously in the moment you're like, oh, he said burn some cash, then he walked it back. Oh, he said May outplayed Brissett and then played Brissett anyway. Like there was a lot of contradictions and whatnot that we obviously talked about and recognized in the moment, but just I think they were indicative of a bigger lack of vision and control that
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess if I were to answer it, I just assumed he would be better than that because he was a well sought after candidate. He
Yeah.
had the resume and just seemed to be like he would be better and he wasn't. So
He had a resume. I don't know if he had the resume, but he had a
it's
resume.
just one of those things where like he was so overwhelmed in the job. He'd be like, oh, he's a
Right.
first year head coach. I'm like, he's been in the NFL since
Yeah.
2008. Like
Yeah.
it's been a lot. He took what 2 years away.
Yeah.
It's not as if he played for 7 years and then disappeared for 5 years and then
No.
showed back up. Like he has been in the NFL for the better part of 20 years, and it was just like I don't know. The head something got I don't know something got in his brain and bamboozled him because he should have been better than that.
Imagine how bleak things would be right now if he was still the head coach.
Yeah.
Like, imagine how negative social media would be. like I also think that he probably wouldn't be a very good quote right now. I think he would probably be trying to make things difficult on us. Um, so it just would be like a miserable experience overall,
Hmm.
and most miserable probably for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It had to be
So
done. It was bad, and it wasn't going to get better because just even the way you build your staff, the way that
right.
like it was totally like I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a
Whoa,
great staff. I made a
whoa,
weird noise.
indigestion.
Maybe.
It was like
Yeah.
one of those chest burps, not
It
a
was like
burp.
a yeah. It didn't come from the chest though. It just came from the mouth.
Oh, are you an alien? I watched the movie
I am.
Nope. Have you seen the movie Nope? Jordan
Nope.
Peele.
Oh
Nope.
yes, I have. Yes.
It was pretty good.
I just want to make the nope joke, but yeah, I
No,
have.
it was good. Yeah,
I
no, I
watched
like
another
Nope.
alien movie this weekend. I watched Lilo and Stitch.
How was that?
Not bad. Stitch made me laugh a lot, actually.
Okay, that's good. I saw the cartoon once, and I was like, that wasn't very good.
I,
So
so this is probably a controversial opinion because I think Lilo and Stitch, the original, has a lot of fans.
hmm, yeah, people love that little animal thing.
I'm gonna say this was like a little bit more clear and like fleshed out than the
Okay,
cartoon. I
yeah,
feel like with some of those like cartoons are just like, let's slap it together. Kids will understand the gist of it. And then as you're watching, you're like, what's going on? This
yeah,
one kind of gave more of a background on everything that's going on.
like a
I know
film.
it skipped some parts that Lilo and Stitch fans were were angry about,
Yeah.
but overall, pretty good. Saw it at the drive-in in Wellfleet.
Oh, that's the way to do it.
Yeah,
Double feature.
didn't do the double feature because I think the next movie probably
They're
would not have
late.
been appropriate for Olivia. A little too late.
What was that?
The next movie,
Yeah.
I literally couldn't. I think it was a Marvel,
Oh, it's the new Marvel. I heard there's
the
a new
new
Marvel
Marvel.
out. It's supposed to be nuts.
Did,
Um,
did you see that by the way?
I think this weekend I'm gonna find out so we can have a friendship talk next week. But I saw The Brutalist, which is 3 hours and
Oh,
20 minutes. And
wow.
have you seen that one?
No, I have not had the time yet.
I
I
had some free
apologize.
time. I did have some
Yeah.
free time, but amazing in like every way, right? Like the cinematography is shot on I forget what kind of film. It's like everything about it is incredible, except the story. The story really sucks. When your movie's 3 hours and 20 minutes, like, and I could tell you the whole movie in like a minute.
It's not great.
No, so I don't know. And I learned after the fact. Apparently, they used AI to adjust his and his wife in the movie's Hungarian accent, and he won Best Actor. And it's like, how'd that happen?
That's a little weird.
Yeah, I didn't even know they did that. I saw him do it. He did the
Huh.
longest Best Actor speech of all time at the Oscars, and it was
Well,
all for something they used AI on. I don't know. I'm very ignorant on
it's
this,
kind of
but
messed up. I'm not a big fan of AI personally.
no, it's it's become like I guess the way that I experience it the most and hate the most is under every single tweet. Grock, is this
Mm.
true? Grock,
Oh yeah,
Grock,
yeah,
tell me
true.
about this. What movie is this from, Grock? It's like live a life. Just live a life and don't tweet at the robot. Just live a life. It's like remember when we were kids and you would instant message chat Smarter Child?
Right. Oh yeah.
You do it with your buddies for like 5
Right.
minutes. You didn't make it your whole personality. And
No, you didn't.
that's become Twitter now.
I
Grock,
I don't
what
know
should
if
I eat for dinner? Grock, what does it mean if it's bleeding? Grock, what do we do?
I feel like we might lose some listeners if I have this full complete thought. Social media is in a bad place right now where
Yeah.
like I'll just say like I feel like with Twitter we lost too many good people
Hmm.
in the Twitter wars. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like
even if we
there were too many casualties.
well, I want to
So
say
now
this.
I feel like Twitter is now filled with too many bad people and it's become like almost unusable in the fact that like no one really sees half the things that you tweet anymore and like the people you don't want to see them are the people who do see them and then like you post something you're just like well that was kind of pointless.
Yeah.
So
I
like
mean,
I don't mean to insult everyone on Twitter but like but you're not better off going on Blue Sky or Threads because those
mhm,
don't have anyone on
yeah.
them.
text is dying out. You need
Yeah.
videos of people getting hit with metal bars on Instagram and
I mean,
TikTok.
I love a reel. I love.
Yeah, and
You
but
ever
it's
see that guy in Insane Shane or Shane
probably
something?
probably
Him and his friends just like throw stuff at each other. They play like undodgeball, where they just like throw stuff at each other, and you're not allowed to dodge it. And they
there
get
was
like
a
extra points if you hit the guy in the nuts or in the head. So like it's just like concussion. It's like
yeah.
Jackass for the 21st century.
There was the whole trend somehow of like razor scooters against shins.
Oh
And it was like, who started that one? It's literally idiocracy come to life.
yeah,
But I think there might still be a ton of good people on Twitter, but I would say there's been an influx of badness like that drowned it
yeah.
out because we're still there, obviously, because there's enough good people to still be there. Like if they were gone, we wouldn't be there. But then I just, it's,
It's still the
I
best place to get immediate news.
right. And I forget if I've used this analogy before. I've used it before, but I don't know if I used it on this podcast. The Christian or modern Christian theory of being left behind.
I don't
Familiar
think
with
so.
that? The
No.
rapture takes place, right?
Oh yeah.
And brings all of the good Christians up to heaven. And
Right. Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
on earth is left behind. There's like a
Right.
Kirk Cameron movie about it, I'm pretty sure. I feel every time I'm on Twitter that I'm left behind. Like all of everyone's up in heaven just like eating grapes and floating and enjoying life the way it should be. And I'm still like, here's my observation about sports.
Yeah.
And it's just it's always pointless, like you said, but it
Right.
feels more pointless now.
Yeah. It's not in a good place. I don't think anything is going to replace it that quickly. The golden era of Twitter, I never thought I would like look back on it and be like, wow, that was a great
Yeah.
time. But like
Yeah.
Twitter 10 years ago, people were just funnier.
Well, you know
People
what?
cared more. People had interesting things to say.
You know what
And now
might
I'm
have
just like,
killed
why am
it?
I even using this?
I would say the For You tab being thrust upon us has really
Is it bad?
uh,
Yeah.
desensitized, or it's just, I don't know, it's just all sorts of stuff you don't really want to see, but then you see because your following tab isn't updating because no one's tweeting. It's like
Right.
you used to be able to read all the tweets, you know?
I
You
do
could read
recall that.
you could read all the tweets and then you could go about your day and then a couple hours you could read all the tweets. And
Yeah.
now it's just too many tweets. So I don't know. I don't know what the point of all that was, but we said it. I think the Kirk Cameron left behind analogy is money.
It's really great. I did. Were you a Growing Pains fan growing up?
I was, yeah, of course.
I was too. I liked Growing
Growing
Pains.
Pains, Home Improvement,
Full House.
Full House, Saved by the
70s stuff.
Bell. You know what was crazy?
Family
With
Matters, Fresh Prince.
Saved by the Bell, I think Bill Simmons did a podcast with what's his name? I can't think of his name.
Chuck Klosterman.
Yes,
Wow.
on
What a
yes
pull.
on Saved by the Bell, and they were talking about it. And when I always thought when I was a kid watching it that it was out and new, but it was pretty old at that point. Like I mean, I was
Yeah, because
obviously
it was
watching
only on for
reruns.
like a couple seasons too, right?
It was like 89 to 93 or something. It's like I
Yeah.
didn't start watching till like 94.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of eye opening to me.
I realized recently I only ever watched Full House in reruns on like syndication. But like I think there were new episodes airing like while I was watching in syndication. I just had
Yeah,
no idea.
right. It just
Yeah.
wasn't that important. Like one time I was watching The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and it must have been like when it aired on Thursday at 8 because
Right.
you didn't really differentiate as a kid. You'd watch at
No.
6 on whatever
Right.
channel,
Yeah.
and it
UPS.
turned out it was the series finale, and I was just sitting in my living room like, wait, the show's done?
It's
Like
over?
it's just talk about pre social media, like not just not knowing that a show was going to end is
Right.
insane.
Oh yeah. That's and we're headed back to that. As soon as Twitter's gone, we're going back to the dark ages.
So Full
Where you're
House,
like, wait, that was the last episode of the rehearsal? That was the last episode of The Last of Us?
that's true. I know that was what 6, but the full last season of Full House was 94 to 95, so we were for sure
Yeah, I think I was
watching
definitely
that.
watching it that time. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. Did
but
you watch the rehearsal?
I watched a couple of this season. I guess I should watch the whole thing.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I watched the one where he recreated the life of Sully Sullenberger, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
all I
pretty
can
great.
say about that.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that was good. The puppets. Did you finish The Last of Us?
I gotta watch. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Okay.
You know what threw me off all
What?
week? As you know, I don't have a job, so that really shouldn't affect me. But Monday
Oh,
was
Monday?
Sunday. Monday
Yeah.
was Sunday,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, it's on tonight." It wasn't. It was on the night before, and it just usually I watch it on Mondays. I'm all thrown off, but I'll watch it. I'll finish it up.
Have you watched any of John Mulaney's show on Netflix?
I have not.
He's fighting three 14-year-olds on tonight's show
Is that
because they
legal?
had the like who would win 100 people or a gorilla.
Hmm.
And then I guess in the writers' room they were like, who would win, John Mulaney or three 13-year-olds? So I don't know how it's gonna go. People in
Yeah.
the morning who have already watched will have gotten to see it. I'm gonna watch it tonight live. My friend
Um,
Frank has been doing a lot of cinematography for their like non in studio stuff, which has been fun to watch. But yeah, I'm excited to see how he fares against three 13-year-olds
I would
or
take
14-year-olds.
three people of most ages against John Mulaney in a fist fight.
Yeah, like I don't think he stands a chance. Like three 14-year-olds are all like 120-ish pounds. Like you gotta I
Yeah.
don't know. I think it's gonna be kind of tough. Yeah.
And I guess you'd have to go to like you have to be bordering on single digit ages before I'd start to take John Mulaney.
Right.
Like 11. I think 11's my cutoff. So if they're 14, that's a no brainer. I do want to
Yeah.
say, because we're probably at that point, but we did put in the title David Andrews retirement. So on that note, David
You're
Andrews
right.
is retiring, which comes as no surprise based on his appearance at Vitamin C Brewing that
That's
night.
true.
He sounded 99.9999% retired that night. So no
Yeah.
surprise. And he was already thinning out as linemen do.
It is interesting that rather than like announcing his retirement, they announced that they would have a retirement press conference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Um,
don't know.
what's the difference?
I don't know. I guess he's going to announce his retirement at the press conference. Just
He
kind of
just
like,
likes talking
hey,
to you
it's a little
guys.
spoiler. You know, he does. He loves it.
That's true.
He's a great
Like
guy.
Edelman had a produced video at the 50-yard line, you know. I don't
Yeah.
think there was a press conference.
No.
Teddy Bruschi had a press conference, but I don't
Hmm.
know if was it
But that was
announced?
like
I
more
don't
of a
know.
surprise, probably.
It was either get cut or retire, and he chose retire.
And it was like at
Um,
the end of camp, right? So like I'm sure that they were just like, hey, we've got a press conference today, and it was Teddy Bruschi retiring. For this one, it's like more of a scheduled, planned out thing.
yeah, who else is it? Like a lot of people haven't finished in New England, so it's a rare thing, I guess.
Mayo,
For,
but I don't think there was a press conference for that. There was just like an announcement.
wasn't he hurt this last
Yeah.
year? Yeah, I don't know. Brady, I don't know if you know that Brady went to Tampa, so he didn't get to do that.
Brady did
Um,
go to Tampa. Matt Light, I don't think there was any sort of.
like Kevin
Maybe there
Falk,
was.
like
Right.
Troy Brown.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he's earned it. Two-time Super Bowl champion.
How about
Patriots
Rodney
great.
Harrison? Tore his quad in '08. Didn't play again. I don't think he had a press conference.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it's just more like, hey, I want to go have another public appearance. I think he likes it.
Yeah.
He's probably working on some. It's probably good for his publicity.
True.
He's seen
No.
people like the McCourties go out and get 80 jobs in immediate retirement. So I'm sure he's starting the train.
Great guy. Deserves it. Amazing career. And he'll be missed. And they've got. We'll see how his replacements do. Garrett Bradbury and Jared Wilson. But yeah, I mean,
The craziest
he was a Tom
undrafted.
Brady favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a Tom Brady favorite. I don't think Brady liked Stork very much with his
Right.
sweaty ass. Was a problem, and he came in as an undrafted rookie. Like to have
Yeah.
that career, and he went to Georgia. It's not like he
Right.
went to you know I don't know Alabama A&M.
Right.
To have that career as an undrafted, I remember asking. I was doing a story. One of the how Super Bowl media night, you kind of have to have a plan, or
Yeah. Oh
else
yeah.
it's just too much. So
Yep.
whatever my story was, I don't even remember. I was asking about draft night or something, and foolishly I started with David Andrews. I asked, and he was like, "Well, I wasn't drafted," and I was like, "Oh, yeah, my bad."
Yeah.
But it's just you just wouldn't assume it
No.
because to play at
Like
that level with the best quarterback of all time for Bill Belichick for that
yeah.
long, I don't know. The
It's probably
draft
because he was just like undersized. Like he was like 6'2", 300 pounds. But like
interior
for
lineman.
center, it's just like if he's good, he's good, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes teams just overthink it. It's like, oh, the guy's too old, or like he's like a little bit too small. So you're just not gonna draft him?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know. Like
Yeah.
small people do succeed in sports
Right.
from time
Yeah.
to time. Like I get that you don't take them in the first round, but
Right.
I don't know. How
But
many
I don't
centers do you
know.
think were drafted that year? A lot, I bet.
Probably a decent amount. Yeah. I don't know if there are any good ones, but
I can't do the math right now because if you do Control FC, there's gonna be just gonna be a
uh,
lot of C's on the page.
I might be able to master this. Oh, I
Really.
keep hitting my mic. I'm sorry, guys.
Um,
We'll edit it out in post.
for sure.
I think if you do like a
Cameron
space
Irving went in
C.
the first. Cameron Irving went in the first round.
Yeah.
Um,
My system didn't work. So yeah, I mean I
Hronis
think
Hronis Grasu went in the third round to the Bears.
you say Andrews had a better career than him.
Yeah. So we got two so far, and now who knows? Some of the guards might have played center too, but I'm still
Right. They might have
going.
moved over to center.
Not
Yeah.
even like a big. Shaq Mason was a center in the draft. Didn't know that.
Max Garcia, the
Max
fourth
Garcia.
round.
That makes four.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, we're cooking. We're cooking now. This is good podcasting,
This
I
is really good
believe.
podcasting. We're just scrolling.
A lot of cornerbacks.
Andy Gallick in the
Andy
sixth round out of
Gallick.
BC.
That makes five. We're almost done. Austin Reiter makes six.
Yeah.
And that will just about do
That
it.
will
Yeah, so
conclude the
six.
draft.
So he was not one of the six best centers. Like Shaq Mason never played center here.
Greg Manx went undrafted as well, as did BJ Finney.
It's just, I guess, one of the things where it's like the draft has become like every year, right? Every year. And people said this about Milton when they traded him. Tom Brady was a sixth round pick. Tom Brady. That will never happen again because the draft now is such an enterprise in its own universe that Tom Brady will never go from Michigan to sixth round ever again. Like people are Tom Brady in 2025, the same career would be a late first round pick at worst.
I think you're forgetting about another Michigan quarterback who went in the sixth round who's going to turn into Tom Brady, and that's Joe Milton III.
That's what I'm saying is people say it. So the fact that someone can slip from an SEC team,
Yeah.
now granted it was before their run of like national championships, but still
They were quite good. Yeah.
they were very good. They had star players on offense. Like people were watching the tape, and didn't get drafted is still a little bit shocking. So a lesson to the kids out there: it's not about where you start; it's about where you end up. Tom Brady said that, I believe.
Brock Purdy won. He was last
Mr.
pick in the
Irrelevant.
draft. Mr. Irrelevant.
He is so rich right now. He is so rich.
It's very rich. We're running out of time here, but I covered a Red Sox game last week. You just happened to attend the same game. So we spent a couple innings together. Baseball's nice in that, like, if you're covering a game, you can just go down and sit with your friend for a couple innings and still be able to go upstairs and write your gamer afterwards. I don't think you can necessarily do that with a football game.
No, even just
not saying I want to start covering baseball full time by any means.
I think you just said it. I believe that is what you just said.
It was more fun than I thought it would be, honestly.
Yeah, it's a different pace. It's a different vibe. I've covered them all. I would say baseball, with the pitch clock, game changer.
Yeah.
Because 5 years ago, that game, 5 years ago was COVID. You wouldn't have been there, or no one would have been there. 7 years ago, that day game could have been 7 hours for all we know.
Yes.
Now, that game did turn out to be 7 hours because they scored 13 runs in the bottom of the eighth, but you were there and
they used up all their runs in that one game, though.
Like, lo and behold, the season ended.
Had no runs.
Because Bregman didn't look like a serious injury at all. It's like, oh, he'll be out for a weekend, and it turns out he'll be out for months.
If even as they were showing the replay of him rounding first and like getting injured, you had to like study it to see him even move differently as he came back to first base. Yeah.
I played baseball, as you know. I hit a grand slam a couple weeks ago, as we know.
Huge.
Did we break that down? Like the pitch, the situation. We'll do it. We'll do a whole podcast on it.
Christian Yelich of men's league baseball.
On More Potable Than Not, we will discuss my grand slam in detail. But I have played baseball since I was like 20 in a men's league. I have injured every lower body muscle to be injured: quad, hips, groins, hip flexors, calves, name it. I've injured
Falling
it.
apart.
I shouldn't play sports. Anyways, so the quad pop, very familiar with, and that was
Yeah.
clearly he rounded first and was like, "Oh, I got a double," and he was like, "Oh, it's Fenway, it's probably not," and then it took a high hop, so he's like, "Oh, maybe I do have a double," and he's like, "No, I don't." So it's just that start, stop, start, stop.
Yeah.
You can hurt yourself, but I thought he'd be out for a week. So the fact that that's happened allowed Rafael Devers to refuse to play another position, the one that he cried about not playing in the spring. It's just a mess, and they just keep getting worse. Did you see Christian Campbell's throw home in the
I
10th
did.
inning today?
That was pretty rough. Yeah.
That was the worst throw I've ever seen, I think, in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah. That was like Yips-esque.
Like, yeah, like the decision was horrible. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
You turn two, tie game, empty bases. Uh, the throw was unbelievably bad, like unbelievably bad.
Yeah.
He was playing in
Yeah.
ish, not in, but toward. I mean, it was it was wild. So yeah, the Red Sox. I think it
Campbell was
kind of
perhaps not ready for the big leagues.
yeah.
He wasn't.
Well,
He was initially, and now it's appearing more and more like he might not be ready at this point.
it's such a fascinating thing because it's a good dichotomy with football, where in football, like literally nothing is guaranteed. Like you could
Right.
sign a contract and still like half of it could be tied up to weekly
Right.
bonuses. You know, like nothing is. You sign a contract, it means absolutely nothing. Christian Campbell played well for a week or two, got a 7-year extension, and is just like, okay, I guess I'll just play baseball now. Like it's the dream, and
Yeah.
I don't even fault him for it. Imagine being whatever 22 and
Yeah.
signing $100 million contract because you were
I
good
thought
for
it was a
2
great
weeks.
deal by the Red Sox at the time. It very well could still wind up being that way, but right now it's not looking awesome. All right, we got to go. I got to put my daughter to bed. This was fun. We'll do this again next week. It'll be earlier in the week because the Patriots have OTAs on Monday. So until then, this has been the Pats Chat Podcast. This has been more potable than not.
More potable than not, for sure.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.